there's no Mr. Timer.
Oh, you're not doing Mr. Timer? I was like, oh, I need to mute myself.
I didn't even do Mr. Timer.
Hold on. Mr. Timer. Let me pull it up over here so I can have I use the Mr. Timer time to get the YouTube channel turned on and get everything. I don't know what to do. I'm not situated.
I don't have Mr. Timer. Okay, everybody's probably watching this like, why are you going to put the timer on now? Even if it's just a minute, we need to have Mr. Timer.
Even just for a minute, because I got to get my things.
And we're live though. It's live. Like they're watching us now. Look, Grant.
It doesn't even matter. I mean,
why we need Mr. Timer? Because like I just
I mean, do we do a Mr. Timer now just because that's what we do?
Right? Okay. All right, hold on. I'm gonna share my Mr. Timer. We have a 1 minute.
I'm gonna mute myself so that I can type.
All right, I'm doing a 1 minute Mr. Timer. Come on, Mr. Timer, let's do it.
We are so ridiculous. It's stupid. Like.
All right, we can have a real party. Me. They're like, what is up with this lady? What up, babies?
So it's gonna be like, what are you doing?
Hello, everybody. How are you? Welcome to Marley and Lindsay. What do you think of my new camera, huh?
I'm loving it. I love that you're blurry in the background. The f-stop is very nice. I'm enjoying it. But also, let's talk about how flawless you look. I mean, your skin is always flawless. Always, which is oh, please.
Right there. I was like, really? Really?
Of course. Because 2021 is just 2020 with bangs.
I was really hoping for something better. Where are we all?
2021 with bangs.
Where are we all? Okay, so hold on. 21 with bangs. All right, I'm turning off Mr. Timer. So, welcome everybody. Welcome to 2021. This is literally the first video I've done in 2021. And I've done it. It was originally supposed to be just a, hey, help me test out my new equipment video. And I decided I'm going to call my friend Lindsay and say, hey, let's do a catch-up update video. And she was like, yeah. And we did not.
I love that you say that I said, yeah. First I was like, oh my God, my hair. And Dave was like, oh no, what? I was like, Marley wants to do a live. And he's like, I love you. Bye.
Well, you didn't even see what I was wearing before you got dressed either. So
no,
we're looking
I love that we coordinated and we didn't even plan it.
Totally. So we have a lot of people here saying hello. My mom is here saying hi. Hello. She says she loves that 2020 with bangs.
I can't take credit. It's my sisters. I can't take credit.
Fantastic. So we have Christy Martin and Emily and Lori and Denise and Christy, Crafty Ferret Mama. Stephanie Manafee, Rhonda is here. Gosh, there's so many people here. So hello, everyone. So as we jump in, as I already mentioned, I got a new camera to use as my webcam, and a real deal camera, guys.
Y'all, it's the real thing.
It's the real thing. So I got a Sony A7S. So it's the mirrorless alpha series, and it's their newest one that's supposed to be really great for doing video, not just photography. And if you guys don't know, literally I have several cameras, but they are specific to what I do. So I have the two cameras that I use on video for YouTube, and they are set up in the studio, and they are constantly set up in the studio. I cover them at night to hope that they don't get super dusty and stuff. And then I have my Nikons. I'm a big Nikon fan, but okay, I should go back. The videos cameras, or their cameras in the studio, are Lumix GH4s, which
they're real nice, y'all. I've seen all of her cameras. They're real nice.
And the GH4s, 5s, 5Ss, like the 5 and 5Ss obviously are the newer editions of the GH4s, and there's supposed to be a GH6 coming out. It was actually supposed to come out in 2020, but it didn't because it was 2020. And I know, right? So when I was looking things up, because those are micro four thirds cameras, and I have some lenses for them, but I also have the Nikon, and I use that for my photography, and it's a Nikon D850. I love it. I have a lot of lenses for that. I love it. And then I decided if I was going to jump into another series of cameras, if, you know, not wanting to undo my studio and reset it up over here and so on and so forth, I had to decide if I was going to continue on with Lumix, if I was going to continue on with the Nikons, if I was going to do the Z series, which I was very close to doing. But after doing some reviews online, I love, there's a guy called Frono's Photo, and
I love him.
I love Frono's Photo. So I was watching all of his stuff, and through his examination of them all, I knew I didn't want Canon because the Canons overheat as you're videoing. And yes, so I was like, I don't need extra struggles in my life.
You don't need, and like, also, I mean, like, I know the new space is going to be magnificent and there'll be plenty of like ventilation, but under all those lights, you don't need no extra heat.
No, I don't need any
of
that.
You don't want no shine to be like,
no.
Refilm this segment. You don't need that. Right. You don't need that.
Hey, side note, you know those like those blotters that you can buy at Ulta and whatever, and they're usually like what, $3-4 for like this little package of little like tissue paper blotters.
Yeah. Here's
something I learned when I was in Hollywood going to a what was it? It was like the women's award show. It was a women's award show of some sort. I can't remember. I'm doing a terrible job explaining this. Anyways, I was in Hollywood getting my makeup done, and the makeup artist there said, hey, when you're there, if you start to feel like you're getting shiny, go to the bathroom and get the toilet seat covers. And I said, what? She goes, it's the same material as what they sell in those little packets. So if you're ever in need and you're out, you guys, and you're just feeling a little bit blotchy, a little glowy, and you don't want to be, I need to go to the restroom, I need to go to the powder room and get yourself one of the toilet seat, tissue things and blot your face. Little side note, you learn all the things here.
Hey, we never promised a consistent show. We just promised a show.
a show. So anyways, yes, it's going to be nice. Don't need all that heat. So after doing all the reviews of people looking at all the stuff, I decided I was going to venture into the Sony product line, and it has a lot of different lenses available for it. And I was like, I'm going to give it a whirl. So I bought it yesterday, to my husband's utter shock, because it has a very hefty price tag. And if you guys don't know, like, I'm already spending 60 grand on the basement. It's a lot of money. So the camera itself was $3,500. The lens was just under $1,000. Luckily, I didn't have to buy anything else. That sounds funny, but like, I already have like the boom that it's set up on. I didn't need to get any extra SD cards, even though it takes an extra special SD card. You can still use older SD cards. And because I'm not planning on actually videotaping and recording to the camera itself, to the SD cards, I wasn't really concerned about that because I purely wanted to use it as a webcam, which people might be saying, why didn't you just go with the webcam? I could have. I actually, ironically, bought a really nice webcam and didn't realize it was for a PC, and I'm a Mac person. And I just, at the end of the day, I'm trying to put out good quality videos. I want to make sure my color is consistent. I want to make sure my quality is consistent. And I want to make sure that I'm just that step above everything else. So I still use my nice Yeti Blue microphone, but I do have a higher end cardioid mic that I might end up hooking up later on, actually getting a mixer and just kind of taking those little steps up. But all of that costs more and more money. So this is the first step. It is a process, but I'm very happy. I mean, I have one of my lights on over here trying to give me that sort of that portrait sort of look where it's, you have the light here, but I still some shadow.
You're doing very well.
Thank you.
I would give you a 90. I would give you at least a 97, if not a 100, but I'm also biased. So.
Awesome. Thank you. So yeah, I'm pleased with, as Lynn said, it's the f-stop. So I'm at a f 2.8. my f-stop, and so that's what's blurring out the back. You'll see even if I get closer, it gets blurrier in the back. Like it's all about the depth perception.
Yeah.
I have autofocus on, so it's tracking my eyes, and it's literally like here's the top of my desktop computer, and it's not resting on it, it's right over top of it and over like this, trying to make it so that my line of sight is still good with all of you as I'm looking at the computer and trying to look at Lindsey and such. So what do you think? Leave me a comment right now. What do you think of the camera? What do you think of the view? Do you think Lindsey needs one of these? I think Lindsey needs one of these. I'm gonna push. We're gonna do it. You're gonna get.
I mean, girl, do I want one? Yes. Duh. I mean,
but it's the price of a car. It's the price of a car.
It's the price of a very decent used car, for sure. Like,
it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. But I'm very happy.
That was the thing, though. Like at the end of 2020, I knew I had to upgrade a lot of my systems, like for lack of a better term, right? Like I had to get a new laptop because my laptop can't run like the Adobe suite that I use for
everything.
Like I use Photoshop for Fabric. I use Illustrator for Fabric. I have to use Silhouette Studio for planner stickers. All of those are very heavy RAM products. And I was a very early adopter of, I'm a PC and I've had Apple products. I think they're great. It just doesn't do what I need it to do. And when I was a school teacher, everything was PC. So me having a Mac made it an issue. So I became a PC because I was a teacher. And now, ironically, the school that I used to teach at, all Macs. So there you go.
I was gonna say they're all Mac at my kids' school too.
Yeah, they're all Mac at my old school. Right after I quit teaching, they changed over all of we used to have like multimedia projectors in the ceiling and like a PC station and 5 PCs in the back. And as to my understanding, they still have the PCs for the students to work on, but now they use Apple TV to project the teacher screens. So like, and iPads, all the kids have iPads. Well, when they go to school, they don't right now. But,
right.
But so anyway, I'm a PC. And so when the Surface came out, the very first Surface, Dave got the Surface for his job. And we really liked it. And so I used a Surface for a long time to run my business. And then they came out with the Surface Book, which is a tablet and a laptop. Like it was one of the first dual ones. And so I have the very first Surface Book. And I have limped that sucker along with like reformatting my hard drive and like only putting exactly what I need on it. Like, do I really have to access my email right now? No, I don't. I don't need my email right now. Right. Like, and I've limped it along for like, I want to say I've had it for 5 years. But it only has 8 gigs of RAM. Marley.
What? What?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And I can still get it to pull up Illustrator 2019. It will not pull up 2020, and it sure as heck will not pull up 2021.
Girl, it's like you're trying to fit a fat woman in a girl that's way too small. Like at some point, it's not all gonna fit.
Right.
You can't pull that tight enough. It's just not gonna fit.
And so I was like, and then, like it became very apparent that I had to have a new laptop because the bombing in Nashville knocked out our internet here at home. And we had AT&T phones. I have now changed to Verizon because I don't want to ever have all of my services on one platform ever again because of what happened. And so we were without internet. We were without phone service. I stood in line at the Verizon store for 8 hours to get my phone switched from AT&T to Verizon on the 26th. AT&T phones came back online in my area on the 28th. And so that was when phone service came back. And then actual like home internet service, I think came back on the 29th. And I know that because Dave and I had to have a conversation because I have to order the first quarter's worth of fabric in December. To get it to me in time. So I had to lay out and design 30 something fabrics. And the only computer that I have to download the artwork from William. So I can't do that on my phone because I didn't have this phone at the time. This is my new phone. My old phone was like limping along. It was like the smallest gigs ever. It was like 29. It was like 28 gigs. It was like, what was I thinking when I bought this phone? I don't know. And so we went through the whole thing and I was like, well, I'll take my laptop and I'll go to like Starbucks and I'll sit at Starbucks and I'll use their Wi-Fi, or like Chili's has really good Wi-Fi. I'll just like order some food and I'll just tip that server insane and I'll just sit there and work for a couple hours. And then I realized that I couldn't use the programs that I needed on that laptop. So then it was like, oh, I need to go buy a new Surface Book. Except that Best Buy, the only place in my area that sells Surface Book, uses AT&T internet, and their point of sale is on AT&T. I could not purchase, like they just had people standing in the parking lot like, we can't process orders. We don't know what we have in stock. We can't do anything. And so then I was like, okay, so I have to go out of my area to go buy a laptop. And that means to get internet, I'm going to have to go to my sister's house. So I like literally call my sister and I'm like, I need you to start checking Best Buys in your area. My sister lives in Atlanta. And I was like, okay, start checking. So my sister's like, what are the specs that you need? I'm like, I sent her a link. I'm like, this is the specs. And she's like, okay. So she starts calling all the Best Buys in her area, and all the Best Buys are like not answering their phones because it's 3 days after Christmas and everybody's Christmas shopping still. And like, you can't check on Best Buy online, the bombing, like you can't check online for stock. So I don't know. So then my sister's like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to map your route to my house. Like, I don't need a map to get to my sister's house. Okay. She's like, you're going to map your route to my house, and you're just going to put in your Google every Best Buy between you and me. And you're going to go in and to every Best Buy between you. It's going to like, it's a 3.5 hour drive from my house to my sister's door. And she was like, it's going to take you 7 hours to get here. It's fine. And I was going to stop at every Best Buy along the way to buy a laptop, so that when I got to my sister's house, I had a laptop to spend like downloading the software, downloading my Dropbox. And then the next day I'd just get up and like work all day at my sister's house. So I get in the car and I'm literally about to turn on the interstate when Dave calls me. He's like, the internet is back. You don't have to go to Atlanta. I was like, oh, thank God. So like, it's been like a whole roller coaster. So I bought a new laptop. Right. So at that point I was like, I'm going to Best Buy here to buy a laptop to see if they have it. Right. Because then if the internet goes back out, because we didn't know it, like cell service was super spotty. So like, was internet service going to be spotty? We don't know. And so I was like, if it goes back out, I just want it in my hand so I can just plow to Tracy's house.
Right.
And so like I went in and I waited in line for the guy because they're swamped. And I was like, I want a 15.5 inch Surface Book with 1 terabyte of storage and 32 gigs of RAM. This is what and I need a pen. And he's like, oh, that's okay. Like, cause I knew exactly what I wanted. Like,
you're a woman that knows what you want. You don't have to be sold to.
I was like, I want this. And he's like, do you want the, I'm like, I do not want the 13. I want the 15 and a half. Like, I need 15 and a half for what I'm doing. And he's like, okay. And he starts scrolling. He's like, we don't have a 15 and a half. I'm like, it's not what I want to hear. Justin, I don't remember his name is. And he's like, no, like really? Like, what? I'm like, I have to have this. And I explained the situation to him and he's like, oh my goodness. I'm like, yes. Oh my goodness is right.
Yes.
And he's like, let me see what I can do. So he starts searching Best Buys in my area. And I live about 45 minutes from a very wealthy, very affluent part of Tennessee that they stock the highest end of everything in the most quantity at. And it turns out they had the right RAM. It was 512 of storage, but I put everything in the cloud. So that's not such a big deal. So I was like, if I need to, I can get an external drive. So it saved me like $300. So I was like, okay. So he ordered it to there. And so I spent like an exorbitant amount of money, right? But I walked out with just the, like, you know, you can buy the Apple Pen. Surface has their own. I walked out with just a Surface Pen. So I was like, here, let me open a vein. And then I walked out with literally a box this large.
I've so been there. I've so been there. I understand.
And he was like, you okay? And so like when I walk by, right, like I've got my receipt that's like, you know, as tall as me. And because, you know, I bought like this, the support, like the care and make sure. And they were like, do you need us to data transfer? I'm like, no, it's in the cloud. He goes, well, a lot of people pay for that. I'm like, it's an internet connection, but sure. Okay. We're doing great.
You're good.
So like I bought all the protections and everything and did all of that because why not? And so and then I got home, I rushed home and immediately started designing fabric and designed fabric for the next 2 days. And then I was like, oh crap, I have to go get my laptop. So then I like fly to Brentwood. Dave's like, what's wrong? I'm like, they're going to put my laptop back on the shelf. I have to go. Like I just jump in the car and like fly over there and pick up my laptop. It was great. I mean, I haven't opened it yet, but it's fine. I own it.
So let's tell people.
Crochet asked what part of Tennessee I live in. I live in Murfreesboro, Nightingale.
Yeah.
It's a suburb of Nashville. It's like 35, 40 minutes away from Nashville, maybe, depending on traffic, maybe an hour.
So people are asking, like, you know, so how's 2021 going for us, right? You know, because when we left them, let's see. So we finished 24 Days of Quickies. Christmas was great. Christmas was great. And then I had.
Christmas, not great here.
Your Christmas day, like Chris, I'm not talking about like the environment, but like Christmas itself wasn't good for you. Like we had a good
No, because have you ever seen the movie Live Free or Die Hard, or Die Hard with a Live Free or Die Hard?
no.
Okay. I love Bruce Willis. He's like a family fave of mine. And he's still making Die Hard movies, which I enjoy. Like, live your truth, bro. And at the beginning of Live Free or Die Hard, the terrorist attack that happened in Nashville happens in the movie. And it's the first step in because 911 was down in the entire Tennessee Valley area. So like we couldn't have, if I'd had an emergency, if Dave had been hurt or I had been hurt, we could not contact 911.
Okay.
They gave us like the news was producing all of the like police officers, like all the departments. But because my cell phone, that's not an emergency number, it's not 911, my phone wouldn't connect. Okay. So we had no way of contacting any support. And that's the first thing they do in the Live Free or Die Hard is they take out 911 and telecommunications. And then the next thing they do is they take out the utilities. And I was like, oh my God, is this happening? Like, do we need to get to Texas? Like, because I have friends in Texas who are like, if there's ever a problem, just like show up, we're fine. I'm like, we can just drive through Atlanta and pick up Tracy and just go. We were panicked. I was packing bags. Like, how do we fit the dog and the crate and the stuff in the car? It was really stressful. Because like, if I hadn't had satellite internet, I wouldn't have known that there was not another bomb. Like, it was very stressful.
Oh my gosh.
Christmas Day was not, all we did was sit and stare at the news because we're like, is there another bomb? Are we okay? Are they going to bomb Murfreesboro? Like, what's next? It was very stressful.
I apologize. I had a wonderful Christmas.
I'm glad you did. It turns out it was just like one random person who was not mentally well, and I feel very bad for him. But that doesn't mean that it wasn't like, at the time, not
right.
So we were just like, you know what? Okay, 2020, you took Christmas too. It's fine. Fine.
I love it. Jolene's like 2021 is getting a lot of side eye. Absolutely. So after Christmas, the Monday right after Christmas, that's when my basement started getting worked on. So I have a story there, but I don't know if we have enough time today to share a story, but let's just say there was an altercation by day 2.
I am aware of that altercation. Yes. As Charlie called me.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's all been fixed now.
It's all been fixed. That's all that matters.
I will just say that customer service is really lost these days in a lot of different areas, and male chauvinism is very strong, very strong. I know you have one too.
I have experienced that in my life recently as well.
Yeah. So it was funny because I went through my whole shebang. I call you. We hadn't talked in like 3 or 4 days, which is really odd because we like
not normal.
Talk every day.
No.
And I have you on speakerphone. You're telling your story, and John is sitting next to me. He goes, "Dude, that sounds like your story." And I said,
"John, I can literally hear him go, are you guys talking about the same person?" I'm like, "We're in different states, dude."
I know. And as we're talking, I looked at him. I'm like, this is because this is nothing new to women like us. This is not anything new. This is not new to women in general. Being treated this way is not new. No. You're just hearing about it for the first time because you're experiencing it from somebody literally that you love, that you're like, right. Well, that's not right. That shouldn't be like that. And I'm like, hello, exactly. Long story short, because I did do a live video yesterday tour of the basement it's framed now. It has the electrical in, the heating ducts and stuff have been put in, the plumbing has been done, and the insulation is done. So drywallers are here all this week. So right now they're downstairs putting up the drywall on the walls. The overall of the basement, I'm very happy with. Very happy.
It's going to be gorgeous. It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be great. The only thing that would make me I gave it a 6.5 out of 10 was purely dealing with the administration and the different things that I've had to deal with along the way. I don't want to go into them too much, but let's just say it's been an experience. Mike has gotten to know me. I've cursed a lot with Mike. He said to clutch his pearls a little. I'm sorry, guys. I curse in my real life, especially when crap happens. So I was not ladylike, let's put it that way. I was not. But
the Bridgertons have gasped.
Oh goodness. I think even my boss, Yeah. Someday I'll tell everybody, like when we're like in a, like I can
when
say
you know
whatever.
what, you need some distance from it to not be full of rage. I understand, like very deep.
But it's good. But it's good. So that's where mine is right now. They're doing the drywall right now. We're on schedule. Everything is going great.
Fantastic.
I'm flying my dad out this week to be here to help me look at the drywall.
Best part of the story.
I love it because my dad has been in the drywall business for 40 years. He's amazing at what he does. Like, guys, can I just tell you something? Honestly, it's a really weird when you know your parents go to work, you know that they're good at something, right? As a kid, you're like, why are they telling me to do this again or whatever? Or they'll say something as you are growing up. You're like, why do you say that? Why do you act that way? Why do you know, like you just second guess everything or whatever. But then you see them in their world where they know what they're talking about. And you're like, oh, damn, you're pretty good at this, aren't you? You know, that's kind of how I imagine my kids looking at me when it comes to knitting and crochet. And I guess there was like this sort of weird realization of that with my dad when he's talking about this and like he knows it. And so drywall's getting done this week. They already tried to tell me they couldn't do something I asked for. I point blank said,
oh wait, is it the bullnose corners?
It's the bullnose corners.
How did I guess?
Exactly what it is. Not only did I reply, one, I told you about these and Brandon didn't listen. Brandon is the sales guy. We'll go into him some other time.
Another day.
And then number two, I said, nope, you can do this and you can do this on these long runs. And this is how you'll do it. And I gave him 2 different ways to do it. My dad helped me write it. And so it's just one of those things. So I asked my dad if he would come out this week to kind of be here to oversee the drywall. He said, sure. So he's going to work from here this week. I pick him up today at 2:30 at the airport. Very excited about that because my dad is 6'5", 340. He's not a small.
He's a big dude. Like it's a big dude. You know what? I'm 5'10", and when I go to Marley's house, I'm like, I am short.
Yeah.
Everyone in Marley's house is very tall. You were all tall people.
You and I are I'm 5'10". You and I are the same height.
Yeah, but like Alora's what, 6 foot?
No. She's 5'8". She's the smallest.
I feel like I look up at Alora. Maybe she was wearing shoes.
Alora is 5'8". I'm 5'10". John is 6'2", 6'3".
Right.
Hayden is 6'2", 6'3". Joey is just over 6 foot right now.
Yeah, but he's still growing, so we can't count that.
And then my dad is 6'1" or 6'5".
The first time I met your dad, I was like, "Hi, Mr. Marley's dad." Like,
but I mean, the thing here is that he can speak drywall, he can speak man, he can speak construction, and he is a fierce defender of me. Because there was one time at the other house, guys, the flooring at my other house wasn't put in correctly, and essentially what the guy did is he did not level the floor before he put the flooring down as he should have. And his argument was, well, she didn't tell me to do it. And guys, this is the best thing I've ever heard my dad say in defense of me. Are you guys ready? This is it. Get it. I mean, get your popcorn. Be ready. Here we go. You ready?
Okay.
He looked at this guy straight in the face, a guy that he's worked with for years. And he goes, if I gave you some yarn and needles, could you make a sweater? And the guy was like, what? He goes, could you make a sweater? He goes, no. He's like, that's right. If you handed her flooring and putty and stuff, she wouldn't know how to do the floor because that's not her job. That's your job. You need to know how to do that stuff. Her job is to make sweaters with yarn and needles, and she's damn good at it. You're supposed to be good at this, and you're damn not doing a not doing a very good job. I was like, wow, Dad, that was very awesome, because it was his way of saying, don't expect her to know something she doesn't know. That's not that's why we hired you. That's why we hired you.
That's why you hire a professional. I don't know how to do this. I hire a professional.
That's why you do it. So, I mean, that was just great. So I'm glad my dad's coming out. He's going to handle all of that. It's going to be lovely. Plus this week is my boys. It's their birthday week because their birthdays are 2 days apart. Joey's going to be 15. Caden's going to be 17. I just can't get my head around that at all. So it'll be nice having them here and working all this up. But enough about me. That's what's happening in my world. I will have to give you guys an update on the basement here on YouTube as well, not just on Facebook. And if you're curious where it is on Facebook, a lot of my updates, a lot of my interaction happens in the Marley's Minions Facebook group. I really spend a lot of time there and it's great. So if you ever want to come on over and join us, you're more than welcome to. Just make sure you answer all the questions because the moderators are very precise who gets in and who doesn't, because we don't want to get bombarded by spam. But Lindsey, tell us your story. Gosh, I am loving this view. Like, it feels so good. It's so good.
I'm having a real hard time not going online and pricing that camera out.
I'm telling you, you need to, you should get it. I'll tell you exactly what to get.
Well, you know what? I need to get a few things taken care of before I can like commit to that kind of financial situation.
Girl, yes. But when it's time, we're gonna go get you one of these. You need one of these. This is fantastic. Like, it is really good.
Okay. So January, it's just December. It's just 2020 2.0 in my house. Yeah. I have had literally every piece of technology I use fail, every piece of software fail. So after Hankmas, I was packing up all the orders. Dave and I spent something like 29 hours packing orders to mail. And then I come to find out that, and like, there's always like a little bit that I get wrong, right? Like a fob will fall out and I don't know. And then like I find it and I'm like, who does this belong to? You know, like that kind of, and I'm always very honest about that. I was very honest with my people in my group about that. And like, you know, like you might have a little something extra because like I had to remake like 3 things. Like, okay, so I packed something wrong. And then I got an email from a customer who was like, I know you said there might be a few things extra, but I ordered 3 things and you sent me 16.
That's a little concerning.
And I was like, pardon me? So I got up the next morning, which is normally when like I spend my time, like if you ordered over multiple days, you might have paid shipping multiple times and you paid more than you should have for shipping. So I issue you refunds, right? Like that's the day I do that. Mm-hmm. And instead I spent the entire day tracking down orders that like, so like for instance, let's say Marley made an order for Hankmas, okay? But the system that I used to combine the 3 orders that Marley made, so I sent her 1 shipment, also got combined with my orders and my sister's orders. But maybe also only part of my orders and all of my sister's orders, and then the other part of my orders might have actually gone to me, or they might have gone to, you know, Susan. Mm-hmm. So when I contacted support, they were like, well, you manually combined the orders. I'm like, I physically checked every address and every name to make sure that I did not combine any orders incorrectly. I might have made 1 or 2 mistakes, but 39 is not reasonable for you to think that I'm that incompetent. I do this all the time. It's my job. Like, I understand that you have a script to follow, but let me just take some words out of your script that if you type, I will report you. You ready? You can't say you understand my frustration because clearly you don't. You can't say you're sorry because you're clearly not. And 4, you can't say you're going to fix it until you actually have a solution. If you say any of those 3 things, I don't want to talk to you. I will request your supervisor. Clear? Bingo. And then the chat is just like silence. It's just like, and I'm like, oh, now you don't know what to say? Do you want to give me to your higher tech team? So they took my ticket to senior support. That was over a week ago. I was told that I would have a solution within 24 to 48 hours. I have messaged them no less than 4 times. I've gotten 1 response and they're like, well, it's more complicated than we thought. Yeah, because your program doesn't work. That's why. Mm-hmm. So I'm a little frustrated. So I had to remake, I don't know, $2,000 or $3,000 worth of product. And it's like, I can make that much product in a day very easily. But when it's like, that's like if I'm making 100 of the same item. If I'm making 100 of the same item, that's this, because like it's an assembly line. When I have to make 2 of this and these 3 in these 2 fabrics and 5 of this in these 5 fabrics and 2 of this in these 2 fabrics, like there's no way to get in a rhythm of like doing anything. And also like cutting is not fast. And then like I have to have my heat press on. Oh, I have to turn my heat press off. I need my iron on. Oh, I have to turn my iron off. I need my heat press on. So like just running back and forth. So like, I mean, I got it done in about 2.5 days, but it was just like, and then I had to sort all of that again. Like, where did these things go? I have like an entire notebook dedicated to just the orders that were messed up. And like everybody in my group has been amazing. I want to be very clear. Everyone was like, don't worry about it. Everybody is mailing me the extra items back. I'm sending return labels for everybody. Like I'm getting pictures and they're like, I crossed out the things that are mine. Everything else on this list needs to come back. So if you send me I cannot express how grateful I am to all the people in that group who've just been like, it's fine. It's okay. Like they've been so generous and kind and loving and understanding. And they're not words. They're not words.
I get you.
And like, it is seriously, it's the best. Okay. I don't even know. There are really, I mean, like I cry about it a lot. I'm not going to lie. Like if I think about my mom and what my mom would have done and how she would have felt about like that group of people and like that community, she would have been like so excited that there was a group of people who were so kind to each other. And like, that's who she was. And so like, I cry about it a lot. I cry about like how nice that is. So, you know, my sister calls and she's like, I was in your Bag Buddies group and they're just great. I'm like, I know. Like I had a customer send me, how about this? Like, do I have a pound of Lindor truffles? Yes.
Nice.
Do I have gourmet teas in my downstairs that I have been burning through because it's so cold here? It's not cold. It's just like the wind is like bone chilling when I have to walk the dog. So like, it's been so nice. And that would be enough to deal with.
I was gonna say, here's the thing is, you're dealing with this, but this is after you've already dealt with something else that was, it was the thing you and I were talking about that John was like, what is this?
Yeah, John was like, did they have the same conversation with different people?
Right down to the same amounts that we were discussing. Okay. Like it was insane.
Like anyway, the same amount of money, the same amount of misogyny. I don't know how else to say. Like
just different names.
Toxic masculinity. Like just toxic masculinity.
Like, I've never been told in my life I talk out of both sides of my mouth. I've never been told that in my entire life. I'm pretty straightforward.
My favorite was being told that I was he knew what kind of person I was.
My favorite was that I was letting the emotions I feel towards the person cloud my opinion about them. No, I was like, just
to quote one of my favorite movies ever, flames on the sides, flames.
Are you kidding me? All right, go ahead. So let's tell them. I mean, so poor Lindsey, guys. It isn't just this. Like this was like the cherry on top of already, excuse my language, shit show of a situation with the planners. Yeah. And it's, I mean, it just sucks. It just sucks that it's just like we're all like feeling all good. We're like, and then it's like bam, and we're like, oh no.
Like, you know, I feel like I'm in a Roadrunner cartoon. You know, but like I'm Wile E. Coyote and like all my plans just keep beating me up. Like that is how I feel.
Yep.
So for those of you who do not know, I produce a planner every year and this is what the planner looks like for 2021. This is our planner. It's beautiful. It's gorgeous on the inside. It's delightful. My customers actually helped me design the interior pages. I'm thrilled with it. It's all sheeple. It's delightful. I am not using my planner because my customers still don't have a planner. I would like you to note the date. It's the 18th of January. The first date in the planner was the 28th of December. I want that to be noted. So I have a very good relationship with the girls who run the Staples Print and Copy Center at my local Staples. We have become friends. Our dogs are friends. We hang out. Okay. Like that's a thing. And like I have Emily's personal cell phone number. And, when I had her quote me this book, the cost of paper has gone up so much because a lot of paper is produced overseas and the shipping and like all of that's been an issue because 2020. So the cost of it has become a huge issue. So the cost to produce this book was actually $12 more than I sell it for per book. Ugh. And so I had to start looking at other places, like not because I wanted to, but because I had to. So I found a local place to get it printed, a local family store to get it printed. I was assured they could deliver on time. I was sure that it would be perfect. And then it was just like a comedy of errors. Like they printed the wrong cards. They printed the wrong paper stock. I got that taken care of. Then they printed the wrong proof file. They printed the wrong file. So then I had to wait for another proof. Then the dividers weren't the right size. So I had to wait for another proof. Then they got the dividers and they cut the dividers incorrectly before they printed them. So then the dividers had to be made by a third party. So they have to print the dividers, send them to be cut, send them back, sort the dividers, blah, 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 blah. It's just logistical nightmare. Mm-hmm. And when they finally called and told me that they were ready for pickup, I'd ordered 110 and they had made 98. And they were like, we have your planners. I'm like, no, you don't. I ordered 110. You have 98. You don't have the planners ready. And so they're like, well, we'll fix it. We'll make another 12. I'm like, yeah, you do that. Make another 12. Like, that's what I ordered. Not my fault. that you guys didn't communicate. I have it in writing that I ordered 110. I have it in writing. Here's a copy of the email. Go talk to your people. And it was so it was another 5 days before I got the planners. And when I called, when they said that, so all the invoices that I'd gotten from this print shop in the past had been 30 days. So like, especially if you have a larger order like this, like it's a very large amount of money, 30 days is pretty reasonable. And I was informed by my account manager that payment was due upon pickup, which is proof they know they shouldn't get paid. Mm-hmm. And they knew that I wouldn't pay if they didn't demand it on upfront. And I was like, well, I'm fine with paying the invoice as long as it's commensurate with the delays and the problems that I've had to solve. That is not an unreasonable request. This is a dated issue. This is a dated product. It's time sensitive. And when I asked for that, they sent me an invoice where they increased the price of the book by like $4 a book, which is not a small increase. They added another hour of labor, which they never told me they were going to do, at $100 an hour. And then they sent me that invoice. I'm like, this is not what I agreed to. Like my estimate, the last time I had an estimate on time and price on this planner was on the 19th. Here's a copy of the estimate. Here's a copy of my invoice. These numbers do not add up.
Right.
These are not the same. And all he would do is say that like, we worked really hard. I'm like, I didn't say that you didn't work really hard. He's like, they're beautiful. I'm like, I don't doubt that they're beautiful, but right now, literally no one can see that. Mm-hmm. And they're late, Tom. Right. Tom. And so like, it just devolves. Like he just gets
you gotta tell them who Tom is. They don't know who Tom is.
Tom is the owner. Tom is the owner of this company. He is the owner of this company.
And I want to preface all those comments that I said that I was called, that was the owner of the construction company.
Right. So we are, I'm like, let's come to a compromise. I deserve a discount because these are late and I'm having to expedite the shipping to my customers because that's the right thing to do. That's the right customer service choice. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, that's not my problem. Actually, it is. It is your problem, Tom. They wouldn't have had to do this if you'd had them to me December 1st, which was the due date. You are 37 days late. 37. So I keep trying to come to an agreement. I'm like, Tom, that's not going to work. Like, I'm not saying that I won't pay you. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we need to come to an agreement because I deserve some sort of discount because this is not on time. And he's like, well, we worked really hard. And I was like, so what he normally does is he does like door mailings, I guess is the best way to. So like, for instance, when I took my tours, yeah, like junk mail, but like also not. So like when I took the tour of the facility, he was printing like 100,000 Christmas cards for some politician in my area. I didn't recognize him, but that doesn't mean anything. He could have been like a councilman. I don't know. In another county. Don't know. And then they do the mailing. They set up all the mailing and do all that. And then they send you a bill for the postage, the printing. And I was like, if he needed those delivered to his constituents on the 11th, and you did not mail them in time to do that, would you have expected that politician to pay you? Well, we worked really hard. That's not an answer, Tom.
That wasn't up for discussion here, Tom.
That wasn't an answer, Tom. And so I was like, why am I different? Why am I expected to? Well, this was a totally custom book. I'm like, I know that. That's what you quoted me. Well, we didn't quote you enough for the book. We didn't know what it was going to take. That's a problem with your estimates department. That's not my fault. Now you know. I'm sorry that I had to teach you this harsh lesson. Now you know what to price it at in the future if someone comes to you. I will obviously not ask you to do this in the future, but we have to come to an agreement, Tom. And he's like, well, we'll give you credit towards future printing. I'm like, okay, fine. What do you think is fair? Well, what do you want? Well, what do you think is fair, Tom? I don't want to insult you, Tom, because like if he's thinking $250, we're not going to agree. But like, if he's thinking like, $1,500, $2,000, like, okay, I can work with that. Like, okay, I can do a whole bunch of things that I have planned. I can make that happen. No problem. Mm-hmm. And he's like, well, what do you want? And I was like, Tom, give me a number to start with. Well, what do you want? So I just read the total of the invoice to him. And he was like,
you're just being,
because like, if you're going to be snarky, then I'm going to be snarky back because I've kept my cool for this long and I'm at my end. And he was like, well, that's what I thought you were going to say. I know exactly the kind of person you are. And I'm not going to talk to you anymore. I'm just going to throw these books away. And then he hung up the phone on me.
The owner of the company hung the phone up on you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I then
because
proceeded.
he knows what kind of person you are. That's asinine. It's asinine.
So I then spent the next 7 hours on the phone negotiating with the customer service rep. His name is Alan. Sweet little Alan. He's like 26 and very scared of me. Maybe should have been. I don't know. I mean, the first conversation I had with Alan, I was like, just so you know, your owner's threatening to throw away my product. And I want you to know, like, I'm not afraid to dumpster dive.
Just keeping it real. Just keep
I
it
got a big
real.
truck. I got a big truck and a big scary husband. I got friends. Most of the police force I taught. So come for me. So I was like, okay. So we came to an agreement because I was just like, I have to have the planners because that's the thing I have to do for my customers. So we came to an agreement. It was, in my opinion, not fair, but it is an agreement. We came to an agreement. I paid the invoice. I went and picked up the planners. But when I went and picked up the planners, I discovered that they printed, because I never had a proof of the whole book, like the coil, the dividers, the covers. I never had a proof of the whole book. They printed the wrong cover file. It's too large. They used the wrong size coil. It's too big. And the dividers look great. So yay. But I literally could not.
Hi, Kim and Alfonso. I'm just going to jump in.
Alfonso. I literally had to, so I don't know if you've noticed, this is the least number of Band-Aids I've had on my hand in the last week.
Oh my gosh.
Not
only did you have to pay more than you expected to, now you're having to fix something that they just didn't do right.
Yes. So the cover originally was another 2 inches out here, like 2 more inches. Do you know the 2 inches? That is
2 inches is
2 inches?
2 inches is significant.
What she said.
Just gonna. Yes.
You were thinking it.
I was thinking it because they're below me screwing up through the drywall. My
jokes write themselves. And so the coil, so it needed a 30 millimeter coil. This is a 30 millimeter coil. They used a 35 millimeter coil. 5 millimeters is not a lot of space. Okay.
Heather Tuttle says the dividers look great because Tom didn't do them. He outsourced them. That's like, yeah, that absolutely, Heather.
You know, Heather, he worked really hard though.
He worked really hard. He want that participation trophy is what he wanted.
Yeah, he did.
All right.
And so like this coil, this is the correct size coil. This is a 30 millimeter coil. This is the same size coil that I have used on every planner I've ever made. This is a 30 millimeter. This is last year's. You can see all my, like, this is my Marley page, by the way. Like all of our notes for plans, that was the page. Nice. And then I had to make another one because I ran out of space. We have lots of plans. Yes. So I had to trim this side of the planner on both sides. So now the cover art isn't centered, which my OCD brain does not do well with, but I can't trim both sides because I can't, this punch is specific to the bindery that they used. Mm-hmm. So I can't take this side off. Then I found out that they also printed that the covers are too wide this way. So I have to trim this side. I have to take the coils out because it doesn't fit in the planner cozy that I designed, that I've been selling for 2 years, that my customers really like. And I'm not going to make my customers buy a new product because Tom's a jerk.
Because you're not Apple. Change it.
I wasn't going to say it. There's a reason I'm a PC, boo.
Right.
And so over the last 2 weeks, I went to Staples and I showed them the book because they always want to see the planner. So I took it to my girls at Staples and they were like, why is the cover so big? Why is the coil so large? What is going on? And I'm like, I told them the story of Tom and how he hung up on me and told me what kind of person I was and how he was. Here's what I don't understand. If you are willing to take the loss to throw them away in a spiteful temper tantrum, why couldn't you have just taken the loss and kept me as a customer?
Yeah. Yeah.
I have questions, Tom. So I had to get them all recoiled. So the only place I could find coils, the earliest delivery date is tomorrow, the 19th. So I ordered those online as a backup. And then I ordered coils from my girls at Staples and they were supposed to be in last Tuesday. They weren't here Tuesday. They weren't here Wednesday. They weren't here Thursday. They weren't here Friday. They weren't here Saturday. I have not heard from them yet today. So best case scenario, my coils will be here tomorrow and I will be coiling all the planners. But over the last week, I have spent my evenings cutting the coil off of all the planners that I have because it's the wrong coil. Well, there's over 100 rings and you have to cut through all of them. So I don't know if you guys can see it. I have a blister right here, and that's from twisting the coil out. The blisters that were on these 2 fingers have cleared up finally. My hand is bruised and my wrist is so frozen that like this is as far back as I can get it. Like normally I can get like this is as far as it goes. Real bad. I have a bone spur growing right here on my thumb, on my middle finger right here.
Oh no.
And it started as like a little like, oh, there's a little thing there. No, it's like, hey.
Hello.
So that's super fun.
Hey lady.
Hey lady.
Hey lady.
Part of that is because that's where I use scissors, and my snippers rest right there too, like my thread snips. So like part of that is sewing, but this didn't help. And so I cut all the coils out and uncoiled all of them, trimmed all the covers down on the 3 sides on both covers, trimmed that down. They are all stacked on my kitchen table, waiting for coils. At one point this past weekend, I called like every Office Depot, Staples, FedEx office, everything to see if they had coils I could just buy. I'm like, maybe I can just buy them locally. And I was told at the local Office Depot that they had them and that they would coil them for me. And they couldn't sell me the coils, but they'd coil them for me. I'm like, fine. So I pack up I take him over there and I get a different guy. And he's like, I don't know who told you that, but we don't have 95 coils.
No.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, I don't understand. Like
you said, it's the comedy of errors. It's like,
yeah, like this one guy was like, I will help you coil them. Like I will stand as long as that's not like against protocol. I'll wear a mask. I'll stand 6 feet away. But like, I have 21 coils in my possession that my girls at Staples gave me. So I've coiled 21, but I need 95 still to coil. Like I still need 95 coils. And he was like, I don't think we have 95 coils. And so he went in the back. He's like, we have 28. We'll sell them to you for $1 a piece. I'm like, that doesn't help me. I'm like, I have coils on the way in the mail. I have coils on the way at Staples. Like I have coils in 3 places, but none of them in my possession.
You know, like this is one of those things where I'd be like, you just can't make this shit up. Like,
oh no, you can't.
This is what I would say. You can't make this up.
And like it's one of those things where like it almost feels like if I were a customer of mine, I'd be like, yeah, sure, that happened. Like I get it. I really get it. Where it's like, that's not real. She's just, and I understand if that's how people feel.
She's
like
a poor planner. She can't run her own business. I think one thing that people, because you're so efficient at what you do, like if this happened at a bigger company, it'd be like, all right, that department needs to deal with it and they need to handle that. And we're still going to have all of this functioning and working. But that's not how you are that department. You are where it is. And this is where it all has. So as things start piling on like this, it's like, well, damn, you know, it's can I just get a break here? You know, it's so hard.
And in a funny turn of events, if I am not moving my hand regularly, it freezes.
No.
Yep. Learned that the hard way when I woke up and was like,
oh no, that's not good at all.
No, it's not. So I've taken literally every anti-inflammatory. I'm taking like Advil. I'm taking my herbal supplement. I'm taking turmeric, anything that reduces inflammation and swelling. I'm taking all of those all the time.
Oh no.
I have an appointment with my doctor, but he's like, we don't want you to come in because I don't know if you've heard, but there's a pandemic. I can't see a specialist until I see, because of my insurance, I can't see a specialist until I see my general practitioner. And so like, you can't see the bone spur that's growing. Like you can't really see it, but like you can't miss it. Like I can't put a ring on this finger because it's so big.
Oh my God.
And it's like, it's right here. It's like right at the base of my hand.
Oh my gosh.
And my dad had Dupuytren. So like, is this a Dupuytren? Like that's a thing to be concerned about. And
I don't know what that is.
So Dupuytrens are basically calcium deposits that form on the tendons in your hands, and they slowly turn your hand into a claw.
Oh no. Oh, that's no bueno.
And they can form on the tendons in your fingers. My dad had it on his finger. It is very common in people of European descent. As we previously discussed, I am Italian. So there are a lot of things to be worried about right here. So I have an appointment with my doctor and he's like, we'll just do a teleconference. I'm like, okay, look at my hand. Like,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, you need to rest it. I'm like,
again, one woman show. There.
I'm like, who do you think is going to run this? Like, who do you think answers the emails and Facebook messages and like, there's no, like Dave, he's great. Dave is like, whenever the coils come in, we're not like Dave and I are like, this is the movie. These are the movies we're going to watch. This is what we're going to order for food. So we don't have to cook. And this is what we're doing. Like, we are literally just sitting down at my table and just coiling planners like all day long. That's all we're going to do.
Oh, but that repetitive stress is going to aggravate it.
Yeah.
I got to go to the bathroom real quick because, I'm old. I've had 3 kids and there's a lot of banging going on
at you. Notice that.
And I'm like, yep, got to go to the bathroom. I will be right back.
Okay. It's very close to you. I know. So anyway, so in a fun turn of events, I have to be using my hands constantly. So if I'm not sewing, I'm knitting, which is ironic since I haven't knit very much, I don't know, in the last 2 years, because I don't know if you've noticed, but I do a lot of sewing. So I am working on, currently I am working on a hat idea that I had that Marley inspired, and I'm just doing like a twisted rib brim right now. I am knitting, of course, with Chic Sheep yarn because duh. So this is an idea I had, and like, I was like, this has been in my head for a minute. So I think I'm going to go ahead and like, I'll start working on that as a thing that I can do, because it doesn't have to be anything. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. No big deal. And I have BioFreeze. I have Tiger Balm. I've used both. Thank you so much. Yes, Jacqueline, I got those. And so Heather, I sleep in a brace. Yep, I do that too. I've done all of those things. So this is me just, am I seed stitching by accident? No. And so this is me working on a hat idea that Marley inspired. So I'm writing my own pattern.
Hello. Hi. Hello.
She's so big now.
She is getting huge. This is Pearl just thought she'd come say hello.
Hi, Miss Pretty Princess Pearl.
Oh, she's licking the water off my hands. Hello, Pearl. You ready to lay down? Go lay back down with sisters? Mm-hmm. I love you too. I love you too. Go down there. All right, go down there with sister. There you go. All right, just come back.
Okay, Volt. I will look that up, Kathleen. There's a lot of like very good, very, very good
ideas,
suggestions for my hand.
Good.
Like some thrillers.
I feel much better. Thank you for letting me. I've been holding it for like 20 minutes. I'm like, I can't.
I understand. So that's been my January. So I'm, and like I had so many plans for January that are literally not happening because all I'm doing is like, and the thing that's so exhausting is that like, and I know you understand this, it's like you're in crisis mode. Like there's no point at which like you can stop because the only way past is through. And so you're just constantly like, okay, here's the next problem. 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 And like last night I was like, well, okay, well, I don't have the coils, so I can't do the planners. Like I've trimmed them. I've unbound them. That's taken care of. Like I have a few things that I need to make to mail out, but like I'm too tired to sew right now. My hand hurts, so I shouldn't sew right now. So like literally at 10 o'clock last night, I was like, is this what a vacation feels like?
Right. I get you.
Because like I literally didn't know what to do because I was like, what's the problem that I have? Because my body is like, what's the next problem? What's the next problem? What's the next problem? And I was like,
yeah.
And Dave was like, why don't we talk about this thing that we wanted to do and we can make a plan towards that end? I'm like, okay. And so like we worked on a thing that was supposed to be launched on like, I don't know, the 7th. And it's like the 18th. So
I get it. Like, so I wasn't in crisis mode, but I was in like crazy
production mode.
Yeah. Production mode. That's the good thing. And like, right, guys, right after Christmas, I didn't care anymore. I didn't care. I didn't care if there was a video. I didn't care if there was a live. I didn't care if there was a pattern. I didn't care if there was a newsletter. I didn't care. I was like, I'm shutting down. I'm done. I need a break because I was toast. Yeah. And then I was like, okay, I got to kind of get back into it. And ironically with planners, I pulled out my planner and I've come to the realization with my planning stuff, you guys, I can't do like a weekly, okay, this is what I'm going to do. I have to have like these are the things I have to get done this month. And then I kind of divide them up of, all right, so like, this is when all these are due. And then I just kind of work with the flow. I don't know how to explain it. It works for me.
Yeah. It's a totally different way of planning. It's still a completely valid way of planning.
Yeah. It's just not, I can't do the whole block planning of like, for 30 minutes, you're going to do this. And I honestly, I feel like I'm crawling out of my skin when I try and do that. Like, it's awful. Long story short here is that I pulled out my planner. I started writing down what I wanted to do for the year. Like, okay, these are the things I want to do throughout the year. Where do those fit in? Okay, between those things, here's what I want to do. Where do those fit in? Okay, so now I have all the big things planned out. Now it's okay. There are little things that have to happen to work up to the big things. Let's plan those out. You're going to work with various people. Who are you going to work with? Let's contact them, make sure they work into the schedule. Let's plan that out. Talk to the people who are going to help you run the various launches, like the Funnel Sisters. They're amazing. They are a company that I worked with Tamara when we did the Stash Busting Quickies. Guys, these two women they're amazing, lovely women that I love working with. They help.
Do you know what's so funny is that I know, like, from watching you build, like helping you build that and like doing like the UI testing for you, like a product that I want to buy is one of their funnels. And I'm like, I know these guys. Even though I don't know them, I feel like I do, because I'm like, this is exactly like, and I mean, is it pulled up on my screen to buy this morning? Yes.
Yeah. So is that the Funnel Gorgeous? Because there's two different. So Funnel Gorgeous is the company that I bought the funnel, but
yes, it's the Funnel Gorgeous funnel.
All right. So Funnel Sisters is the company that I use to help me put together the entire offer. So like the checkout screen you guys had, the emails that were all set up, like it is a huge job. So I really enjoyed working with them on that. And so I wanted to set up, I have 4 different plans to do launches throughout the year of my own. And I was like, okay, I got to set it up with them to make sure it fits into their schedule, because they're a business too. They're working with other companies. The point to all this is, like, I had this downtime, and then I was like, okay, I've got to begin to plan what my next attack is. And this week is really the first week of all right, we're back at it, because all last week I was having some serious, not imposter syndrome. That wasn't it, but it was more sort of like, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Nobody wants to hear me. Like, I don't even know how to explain it. Like, it was just this weird lack of mojo, I don't know. And so I reached out.
Honestly, it's burnout. It's part burnout. It's part, am I doing the right thing? Like, I've been there. I understand. Like,
like
I'm there. I'm there.
Yeah. Like, it's there. I'm in contract time with Yarnspirations. So we're in the middle of contract time there. I'm in contract talks with other people too for other things. So there's lots of stress. And then it's a lot of making decisions now that impact the future and the future of my income, my family, my everything. And then I'm sitting here on top of a $60,000 debt going on in my basement that I'm like, I've got to be able to work hard to get that paid off as quickly as possible. Because I don't want to have that, and that's a huge amount. That's more than most people make in a year, 2 years. I mean, it's huge. And so there's just a lot there. And so I was having this moment of doubt and all that stuff. And so I reached out to the Minions group this weekend, and I was like, all right, so if you guys don't know me very much, my love language it's words of affirmation. Like, that's huge for me, and constant, like, the reassurance and words of affirmation, like, that's really big for me. So in the interest of, I want to say, like, swallowing my pride, or just be like reaching out and saying, hey, this is my love language. I need you guys to fill my cup. Like, I need your help right now, because I'm running on empty, and can I just tell you, like, they heard the call. Like, they were all so wonderful. Because I said, post one positive thing that you have learned, either from me, my patterns, my YouTube channel, my make-alongs, whatever it is, just tell me something positive. And I'm going to flip that around here, and here on YouTube, I'm going to ask you guys the same thing, whether it's me or Lindsey, in the comments of this video, not just on the live chat, on the video itself. First off, smash the like button, y'all. Remember, smash that like button. Second, leave a comment. And if you would leave one positive comment of something that you've learned from me or Lindsey, from a pattern or something you appreciate, just something, some words of affirmation that would help us fill our cup, because we kind of need it a little bit. It would be nice. So that's kind of been my venture into 2021. trying to get ready. And my very first pattern for 2021, do you guys want to know what it's going to be? It's not even mine, but it's going to be on my website. You guys want to see it?
I do.
Want to see it?
Hey, banana.
Say banana. How adorable is this? And can I just tell you, so this is designed by Michelle Wilcox. Can you guys see that? I mean, is it going to?
It's still focused on your face.
Of course it is. I can't. Here it is.
There you go. You got it. There you go.
Get away from me. So there's the banana. It's designed by Michelle Wilcox.
I love that she has eyelashes.
I'm gonna be real here. You guys ready? Cover your ears or clutch your pearls if this is gonna offend you, but I'm super impressed that she was able to make this without it looking very phallic-like.
Agreed.
You very easily could do that. You know what I mean? And I didn't want that. I was like, this is, it could also be corn. Can I just say, like, you could make this corn?
You could totally make that pop. Yeah.
Totally make this corn. But I love that it's a banana. And so I'm going to be publishing this on the website, and it's going to be called Say Banana, in honor of Lindsey. It's just so cute. So we do have the Say Banana designed by Michelle Wilcox. So that's going to be coming up. And then I have some really great things planned with Robin Chichula specifically coming up, and then Tamara along the way, and some other stuff. So that's good. But how did I get on this subject? But it was just things, like the things you have planned, and you have a break, and then like I feel like, okay, my break is over. I mean, we're January. We're July 18th.
It right? Feels like July, doesn't it?
It's July. We're January 18th. I'm like, okay, my break is over. It's time. It's no more. You've done some planning over the last week. You've done some prepping. You've got the basement going. It's going to be ready soon. It's time to dive in. And so like this week, we're going to be announcing the materials you need for the game day mystery make along. I think that is going out on Friday, just so if you guys are all looking for it, like, where is it? Friday, I think, was my date on my, I'd have to go get my planner out to see. I think I have it written down that Friday's the day that I'm going to announce the materials for that. So I have that coming up. And if you don't know what the game day is, it is held over Super Bowl Sunday. My goal was to try and make some videos if they're needed for the game day. I'm not going to make it for every hour, but if there happens to be an hour where I'm like, okay, let me show you how this works, I will show you how to do that. That is run just like all of my other events we do. So if you need an update on that, I will be giving an update on that later on in a video here to walk you through how it works. But that's a lot of fun coming up. And then from there, we have the Tournament of Stitches, and then the thing I'm going to be doing with Robin, which I'm very, very excited about. On top of all that, I'm teaching classes with Yarnspirations. I'm teaching classes for Yarnspirations with Michaels. So I'm doing a lot of online classes with Michaels for Yarnspirations. I'm doing specific classes with Fave Crafts Publishing, favecrafts.com. I'm doing a lot of specialty classes. So I have the free classes that like learn to knit, learn to crochet, but I also am doing some more experience classes. So like coming up, I think I have like a cable class, and it's a live class like this. I have a handout. It's good. Cables, and then doing one on lace, like introduction to lace, essentially. I'm doing one on introduction to brioche knitting. So that's another big one. So there's like a 3-package set you could actually purchase through Fave Crafts. I think we posted about it today on the Marley Bird Facebook page. I'll have to check and make sure about that. But the thing here is, I feel like I'm jumping in, but the real exciting thing to me, Linz, honestly, as we jump into the new year, because I'm not planning on going to any events. I'm not planning on, this is the first year ever that I'm not.
I mean, like, I'm signed up for SAF if it happens in October, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm just not. I will go with you.
Oh, fun. If it happens, I will go with you. But this is the first year I'm not nothing.
I mean, honestly, like I was going to do Stitches West at home. Like I can't, I physically can't do it. Like my fabric is in the mail. I think I paid the invoice. So like my first quarter fabric's in the mail. I have to do Destination Lane. I have to finish the planners. I have to do planner camp. I have to do, like, there's so many things that I still have going on that like, I have to let something go, you know, like even though I want to do it, I just can't.
Right. Something has to give.
Yeah. Something has to give.
Yeah. With all the stuff that we have planned individually.
Yeah.
I am most excited about two of the things we have planned collectively. So we've talked about the After Dark book club. I'm ready to dive in with that. I feel like the first one should sort of essentially be a, hey, let's introduce you to who we are, what we like, you know, what kind of books are we reading, kind of how do we see this channel going? I feel like we need to do a video for that.
Agreed.
And let that be started. And then I feel like you and I have to come up with
like a format.
Yeah, and I also was going to say like a book reading plan of okay, let's plan out the next 10 books we're reading.
Yeah.
And
I can tell you right now, like I have at least 2 more I have to read before you can make any decisions about anything, because you done got me hooked on another series and I have to finish it. Also, what just happened, and then I'm like an hour from finishing the 3rd one in the series. You know what I'm reading. I'm not going to spoil it. And like, let me just tell you, Mama came through.
Yes. So I feel like that should be our first series we read together. And I'm trying to decide if we should talk about each book individually, which you and I always do and all the time.
Right. But like that, that's the other thing I've been also like, I have an entire note, like I have a file on my phone where like, because my English teacher brain is going now, that like, I'm like, oh, look, this is a theme that if you're not looking for it, you don't necessarily, like a lot of people, when I say it, you'd go, oh my God, you're so right. But like, you might not have noticed it. And so like, I'm very excited because like my English teacher brain is going, and like, I have all these things to tell you about like what the exposition and like this and that and how this works and this literary device and how that plays into like how the plot moves and how that gets everything going.
This is where I think it's going to be great, because that's where your brain is. My brain is all, man, that sex scene was hot.
Hey girl, my brain's there too. Ain't no shame in that game.
That's where I'm at. I'm like, theme, what are you talking about? Did you read the same thing I just read? Like,
it's so like, no, like it's I have to finish the last 2 because there's 5 in this series, right? 5?
Six. There might be 5. I thought there were 6.
Okay, I don't know. Well, I have to finish the series to see if it holds true for the rest. And if it does, I'm going to be very impressed with my English teacher brain that like dusted itself off in the middle of all of this crazy hoopla happening in my life. So like, you know, that muscle's still there. It's just a little weak. We got to stretch it out a little.
So I'm very excited about that. And that's its own YouTube channel, guys. We're going to have the After Dark book club.
It's going to have nothing to do with knitting and crochet.
Nothing to do with it. Well, unless the book has knitting and crochet in it, but really it's purely just Lindsey and Marley talking about the different books that we love. And I don't read like nonfiction.
I don't either.
No, we read like romance and
paranormal. I'm just gonna be really honest,
okay? Fantasy.
Like, here's some truth for you, okay?
Here's some truth.
Here's some facts.
Drop it like it's hot, baby. Drop it like it's hot.
Here's some facts, okay? I watch movies and shows and listen to books or read books, however, whichever you choose, to escape my life. Okay? Yes. I don't know if you have listened, but I don't need any more reality in my life. Do I watch reality television? No, I don't. You know why? I don't need more reality. I don't need more disappointment. I don't need more judgment and anger and hate. No. You know what I want? I want a nice little formula that fits in a box. And I know, even though it's going to be super bad, except for that one time you tricked me, which was so mean, that it fits in a nice little pattern. That was, girl.
Can't wait till we get to that series.
That was so horrible.
We can talk about it.
Like, I was standing in the kitchen eating cottage cheese out of the container. That's where my life was at this point. And Dave's like, honey, don't you need to go upstairs and finish? So I'm like, I do. And he's like, what's wrong? I'm like, I know what's about to happen in the book and I'm sad. And he's like, is this the one Marley spoiled? I'm like, yes. And he goes, well then, like, maybe she lied. I'm like, really?
I love your comment was, I hate you, you're a bitch, I love you.
I was like, that was mean. This is the worst. I can't believe that. That was awesome. Oh my God. You're the worst. I love you.
Yeah.
But it was all like different text messages.
But I have been there with you on that too. Like Sarah J. Maas, I was listening to one of the last ones on the plane on the way to one of the stitches, and I'm sobbing on the plane, like hiccuping, sobbing.
Oh, it was not Tower of Dawn.
It was not Kingdom of Ash. It was not Tower of Dawn. It's right before Tower of Dawn. The final bit of, and I was a mess.
The final bit right before Tower of Dawn, because Tower of Dawn takes a branch.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you got to Stitches and walked in, you were like, I hate you right now.
Oh, it was awful. I mean, it
was
so
I know
good.
what happened. I know what happened that you were crying at.
Yep. I was a mess. I was a hot mess. So, I mean, you've done it to me too. So anyway.
But I didn't spoil anything. I didn't tell you someone you loved.
I purposely spoiled it. Like, oops, you didn't read that. Like, that was hilarious. Anyways, these are the type of conversations you can expect in After Dark Book Club. Like, just really good stuff. So
Queen of Shadows.
Yeah.
Christina Ross came in with the win. Queen of
Shadows. Christina Ross. She is our Sarah J. Maas girl too. She's right there with us. Lost my train of thought. So After Dark Book Club, but then I kind of teased this a little bit in the Facebook Live I did in the Minions group showing the basement. Did you see that? You did see that. John said you were on there.
Yeah, because I was like, John, you're a really great camera guy.
And he's like, oh, your organizational superhero is here. And I was like, oh, that's funny. But I'm going to have you come here and help me organize and set up my basement. And I think we should film it.
I think you're right.
I think we should make that happen.
I think we should make that happen.
I think we need to call our friends in Chicago who are very good at audio and video and set up something to where we create our own little, you don't have to throw everything away show.
You also don't have to put everything in a plastic container.
And it all doesn't have to be rainbow. Don't get me wrong. Love rainbow. But it all doesn't have to be rainbow.
Girl, okay, here's the thing. I love rainbow. If you came into my studio, all of my fabric is organized that way by theme. Obviously, like sheeple are like, I'm not going to mix like decades and sheeple. That's not a thing.
I mean, my favorite color is rainbow. Like, I love rainbow.
Like all of my thread, all of my bobbins, all of my ribbon is all organized in that manner. Why? Because that is the most organized manner your brain can process that information. So it is the fastest. Do I have my books organized that way? No. Why? Because I don't remember the spine color of the book I'm looking for. I know the name. Have feelings. Also, do I need to organize my pantry in rainbow order? No. I need like crackers together and like snacks together and like canned soup together.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
Like, why would I split Progresso and Campbell? I don't care. Is it the soup I need? That's the can I'm going to get. I don't care what color the label is. I don't care. I'm sorry. We
don't discriminate on soup. We just want it all together.
Girl, I discriminate against. You do not get a body like this by saying no.
I love you so much. So anyways.
My customers know me. This is not the only chocolate that I've gotten. I got this chocolate. Jolene sent me.
I bought some chocolate that I'm snacking on right now.
Yes. Jolene sent me like, I don't know, like the super like Costco size of York peppermint patties and Kit Kats. Still working through that.
She's our girl.
Dave, when I opened the door, cause like Amazon, I was like, honey, what'd you order from Amazon? He's like, I don't order anything from Amazon. I'm like, well, we got an Amazon package. And because all of the houses are not labeled well in my cul-de-sac, I was like, oh, I bet it's our neighbor. So like I looked, I'm like, oh no, it's addressed to me. And like, so I opened it. I was like, maybe it's just like something that was back ordered and I forgot. And I opened it and it was like a note from Jolene and it was like, thanks, and I was like, oh, and then like I had a customer send us cookies. I've had someone buy us dinner, like it's been really, I'm telling you, Bag Buddies are the best people. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah.
Did I have gourmet steak burgers for dinner last night, purchased for me from a customer? Yes, I did.
Yum.
Girl.
Yum.
Girl.
Sort of a side note, there's a brewery here that I went to yesterday because, I like beer. It's not like I go drink it all the time, but John and I will go just to chill out, and we actually will work there for a while. Yeah. Side note is that the food there is to die for, and they are the best.
About that.
They're the best cheese curds I've ever had in my entire life.
Girl, you know I love me some cheese.
When Jolene comes out, I gotta definitely take her there. But I had a sort of like a blue burger, but it was blue cheese hamburger with caramelized onions, and it was so good. It had truffle fries and
yes,
it was just delicious. So when y'all come out here, it's 4-day raise. It was delicious. So very good.
So good.
Can you tell I'm hungry? It's 1:00. I'm hungry. So
Christina was like, can you please print that on a shirt? You don't get a body like this by saying no.
I love that. It's great. So I'm very excited about these things with you. Like, I think they are fun. It's a different creative outlet for me. When I feel like I get sort of in a rut, you know what I mean? I'm like, I kind of need something different. But I'm excited.
So I'm just going to brag for a second. Okay.
Okay.
So Samantha just posted in the chat. I did not see this, Samantha. She said, did you see that a bag buddy was selling her bags because she lost her job and people paid her so she could just keep them?
Oh,
that's my Facebook group, y'all. I'm telling you.
What a wonderful thing.
It's like, in all the hate and vitriol and everything that's on the internet, like there's this one little corner where it's not, and it feels so good to be a part of it, like genuinely.
I can totally understand that.
So, sorry, I didn't mean to, but like, I totally understand, like, you need to get something out of your, you have to get out of your rut, for lack of a better word. Like, I don't know what to say. Like, you do have to like stop what you're doing and like think outside that box to like.
You're absolutely right. So my mom is saying,
don't forget to go pick up your dad.
Don't forget to go pick up your dad. I know, Mom. I'm gonna leave here in about 25 minutes. That's so funny. Mom. I will pick him up. I assume he got to the airport all right. I'm assuming.
Well, I'm assuming since she's saying don't forget to pick him up, that he made it.
Yeah, he should get. Linz, I miss talking to you like this, and apparently everybody loves having us on here too, which is nice. I like talking to you. Maybe this should be a thing we do too, because I have made a decision to allow the Yarn Thing podcast to sort of go on hiatus for a permanent status right now. That doesn't sound, that was very vague, right?
It's going to take a break. It may come back, it may not. You have to make, that's okay.
I need a break. I need a break from what it was. I need to think about where I want it to go. But maybe, I mean, there are other quote unquote podcasts out there where people are knitting and crocheting like us, who just sit and chit chat. But I mean, they might talk about yarn and needles a little bit more than we do, but maybe we just have us. Maybe we just get on here, just the Marley and Lindsey show. Because, but if we do that, you got to go get this camera. Because, girl, this camera makes me look good.
I know. I'm looking at the mess behind me, and I'm like, God, I wish that was blurred out.
Right? We need to do this. You have to go get one of these. This is really great.
Let me just find that, because I'm not just like, hey, here's all the money for shipping. Hey, here's all the money for the returns. Hey.
I know, right? Well, maybe we could do not a GoFundMe, that's not it, but maybe we do a special of, we're selling all of this because we're gonna get me a new camera.
Yeah. Well, because all the things that I had planned that I wanted set up for January trial run, for instance, there's an app that I can install on the website where I can put in, let's say you wanted to order a barrel, okay, because I know you love your barrel. Mm-hmm. Let's say you wanted to order a barrel. I can say, if they order a barrel, here are the fabric options. I can put in as inventory the number of yards, for lack of a better term, the amount of fabric that I have in said fabric. Okay. And then if you could go on and order and say you want a barrel in Bag Buddy sheeple, and you also want a matching DPN roll. I know you love your DPN.
I love my DPN roll.
So you want those two matching things. Well, then the system will take that number of inches off the total yardage of fabric, so that I can't, because I've never been able to do pre-orders because you can't guess how they're going to sell. Is it going to be totes? Is it going to be project bags? Is it going to be needle cases? There's no way to guess that. And there's no way to be okay, I'm out of fabric now, or you oversell it. Right, so right. That's the thing I've never been able to do, where you could order just the one thing that you need to finish your set, or you just love that thing and you're going to treat yourself, but it's not in stock, whatever. And that was the thing I really wanted to have set up and running by now. And I haven't even downloaded the app yet. So
I hear you. I need a DPN hook roll. Just wait.
Yeah, wait, Joe.
There's
a whole thing.
Yeah, there's something. Thing. She has a tab in her planner for it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
I do. I mean, it's in my 2020 planner.
But we'll just move it over.
But that's one of the only things in my 2020 planners.
I love it. I love it. So I did get my Hankmas stuff. I got my
Super Buddy sheeple. I didn't know that you got Bag Buddy sheeple. I didn't know.
I did. I got this, and I got this one.
Oh, you love that one, the Swatch Watch friendship bracelet one.
It's something about, I don't know. It's very appealing to me. I really like it a lot.
Well, you helped me design it, so that's probably part of it too.
Call me crazy.
Yeah.
So there are people are absolutely saying that they think we should do something together. Stephanie Manafee says that she bought a DPN roll because Marley made me do it. Yeah,
I know, it was so funny because like when we were packing orders, we got to a certain section of the orders and Dave was like, because like I had everything in my living room for Hankmas so that it was all like I could just walk a loop, right? And then all of a sudden he's like, you need to go to the stock room and get a DPN. I'm like, what? And then like you need to go get the stock room and get a DPN. You need to go to the stock room and get a DPN. You go. I'm like, Marley made them do it. And he goes, oh, yeah.
That's funny.
He goes, what is this with the DPNs all of a sudden? I was like, Marley made him do it. And he goes, got it.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Everybody's talking about Bag Buddies. Bag Buddies is a group on Facebook, you guys, that is dedicated to Erin Lane bags. Marley's Minion is the Facebook group for Marley Bird and all the things that we do. Everything that we do a lot of stuff in there. I know somebody up here asked me, Kathleen asked me what my camera is. It's a Sony AS7, and my lens, I got a Tamron lens of, I think it's 24, hold on, 28 to 75 millimeter lens with an f-stop of 2.8. I also really liked the Sony lens, which was a fixed lens of 20 millimeter and an f-stop of like 1.4 or something like that. It was really nice. But it was like $900, and I was like, oh, lenses are expensive, but the lens is what's really
the lens. I mean, like, so here you go. I upgraded my camera after Christmas. So this is my old camera. So I'm a Canon because I have a ton of Canon lenses from when I was taking like actual film photography. You remember when that happened?
Yeah.
So I had that from when I took photography in college. So I stuck with Canon. And so this was my camera from like, I've been using this camera for, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, but when I needed a wider angle lens than I had, it was cheaper for me to buy a new body that was a kit with the lens I wanted than it was for me to buy just the lens. What is that?
So like, this is my Nikon. Can you see? Is it focusing on it?
Yeah, you have to, whatever you're going to hold up, you have to put it straight in front of your face.
All right. So it's in front of my face. So it's a D80, but this lens, it's a 24 to 70. So it's supposed to be really great for portrait shots and stuff. Yeah. It was like $1,800 or something like that. It was outrageous. Yeah. I mean, it's so much money.
Mine's not even fancy. Mine's 18 to 55. Like, it's a pretty standard wide angle. But for product shots, this was $700. If I bought a new body with it, it was $495.
Yeah, I want to get a macro lens also. I mean, but I've got other lenses. But I mean, this, and then you have the grip that costs extra money on it too, like the extra battery grip. Yep. And then just all the things. It just gets very pricey. I do enjoy it though. I do enjoy photography and videography. I enjoy all of it. Yeah. Actually, I wish I could.
Well, and my new camera has like the flip out, like you can flip this out.
Yeah, this one has too. So does that one.
So my new body has the flip out, but I didn't have to buy. But again, I couldn't. I just wanted the body camera of the. I got the Canon 80D, which is it's the same frame as the Nikon. It's the same, just different branding.
Got you.
And I was like, I just want the body, and I couldn't find just the body. I ended up with like 3 macro lenses, a case, a tripod. I'm like, how is this a cost effect? Okay, fine. I don't care.
I understand. Yeah. So it's cool. So let's see here. I was going to answer some more questions. Darling Corbett, I'm getting one of those cameras. Are you, Mom? Mom's going to move to Indiana here with Dad, not just Mom. I mean,
well, I would assume that your dad was coming too.
Unless Mom just says, see ya, and gets out here. Mom wants to come out here. We need to create enough, generate enough income so that we can hire Mom to work for me. That would be awesome.
Can she work for me?
And we'll get
you
more.
Already have help. Quit being selfish.
I know, right? I have the best help. All right. That was one. You want to talk about things like that are blessings in disguises, but I mean, and I'm not saying that I wanted Caitlin to leave by any means. That is not it. And if Caitlin wanted to come back, I would have her back in a second.
For sure.
I talk to her quite often, but when Caitlin left, you know this because I called and talked to you and sobbed my eyes out.
Yeah.
it felt like my entire business was just beginning to crumble because was such a huge part of it.
She was like a linchpin. I mean, I get it.
Yeah, because I mean, and it took time for her to become that. Like, I mean, she worked for I think 4 years, and over that time frame, like she started off small, and then I would give her more and more stuff. So there were so many things that I no longer had to do because she was responsible for doing them. And so all of a sudden, when she is gone, I either have them all back, I have to hire somebody else, retrain, do all the things. And it was a very, very stressful week of my life because she left within a week. But you know, you guys know I'm a Christian, and I really feel like God looks out for you in some ways. I mean, especially with me, I often joke around that God has to kick my butt to get me to move out of my own way. Sometimes, yeah, I truly feel that way. And I try hard to listen, but sometimes I think I'm just too bullheaded. And then he always comes through. He always comes through for the win, right? So my point here is that I was very blessed in being able to hire immediately somebody to take over my Facebook, who I worked with at Red Heart, whose mother is in the design industry, who does knitting and crochet. Like she knows everything that I do. So I didn't have to train her. It was as easy as an hour-long conversation with me, Meg, and Caitlin telling Meg what to do, like what she does. And Meg was like, all right. And she started, and that was it. Like, it was amazing. It was just,
because that's the thing is, like, if you try to hire someone to do your social media, all the companies out there that want to do your social, they're like, well, you need to send us the content. I'm like, if I'm going to send you the content, I can schedule it myself.
Right. So it's hard to find the person that can do the content, understands what we're doing, understands it, understands the knitters and crocheters, right? So I got that in Meg, which was great. And then Selena Baca, you guys know I love me some Selena Baca. I love Selena Baca. Like I love Selena Baca. I love her. And so I reached out. I said, do you know anybody? She goes, I got you, girl. I got some names. So she refers 2 different people. I call each one up individually. I call Chrissy up first, and I'm like, oh, wow, I really like this girl. Like, okay, I could see where she could fit in doing this. I'm like, I don't really know if she could take on all of, like, so Meg took a big chunk of Caitlin's job, right? So then there's Chrissy. I'm like, I just don't think she
I need to email Chrissy back. She emailed me. I forgot to email her back. I'm sorry, Chrissy. I'm sorry. I haven't forgotten you, girl.
Yeah, right. So then there's Chrissy, and I'm like, I don't think she could do like everything. So I don't think she could do all the blogging and all of that side of stuff, but maybe that's something we could work into. So I talked to Chrissy first, and then I talked to Catherine. I called Catherine. Catherine is like perfect SEO blogger person, like content person for my website. Like that's what she wants to do, right? So I'm talking to her to be the Caitlin that does like all my scheduling, essentially my assistant plus blogging, right? And I get dumped with 2 people where I'm like, well, crap, I can just split that job up. And that's what I did. So Chrissy is my personal assistant. Like she's my executive assistant. I have an executive assistant. And then I have Catherine, who is my manager of social content. Like she handles all of it. So then here's the kicker of all of it, right? So now I went from a 2-person team to a 4-person team, and the 3 people, none of them knew each other, and they get along great. They plan great. They work. This is going to sound funny, but they work behind me working things out and only come to me when it's like Marley has to make this decision or Marley has to sign off on this. Like they're planning things like a real company does, right? Because I don't have to deal with everything. It is amazing. It is amazing. Like I text,
life goals. Hashtag life goals.
It's amazing. And like I text Caitlin the other day. I was telling her something and I was like, I said, I so wish you were here to see what's happening, because all the things that I said, all the things you and I had planned are all coming to fruition. Like it's all coming out. All the things that we had tried to do and we're working towards are all happening now. And it feels so weird not having her here to be a part of it. You know, like I feel like I wish I had enough money to be like, okay, you're the director of all of this. Cause that's
right. And cause like she really kind of set you up so that you could be here.
Yes. She's amazing. I mean, I love Caitlin with all my heart. I do, guys, like beyond just being we were not friends prior to her working for me, but we became friends and partners. We really were partners, right? It was just amazing. So it's fun to see it all happening. It's sad because she's not here, and it's sad because she had to leave to make this part happen. but I know that she's happy. I know that I'm happy. Things are going great. Like my job is constantly pivoting. I've talked to you guys about this, right? Before, about my job always has to pivot. It always has to pivot. Caitlin even bought me a cup that says pivot. Like she's like, pivot, look, pivot constantly. So, but it's true. My job is always pivoting. And I feel like I'm in another stage of my job where I'm pivoting in some manner. And it's scary because I don't know where it's going to go. It's, I mean,
here's
so 2020.
I completely understand. And like, I'm at a spot where I have to stop doing the sewing.
Yes.
Does it make sense? Like, I have to stop sewing things.
Yeah.
I have to find people that I trust enough to make my product.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, that's very hard. I don't know. Yes. I don't know how that's going to go. It's going to be great. So like, I understand completely. Like, I agree. Like Jolene said, like God has to hit her with a 2x4 to get his, like, I agree.
Yes. 100%. Yes.
Cause I'm always like, every time, and my sister always points it out to me when I'm calling her in tears, cause like everything's going wrong, like every day in January. So like, I'll call my sister and be like, I can't believe this happened. Oh my God. Like, like this person didn't deliver on the bags they said they were going to make, because now I have to stay up all night and make them, and blah, 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 right? Whatever. Or like the help that I had lined up to come doesn't show up or whatever. And my sister was like, every time you've been forced to make a big, scary decision, it has only grown your business. Mm-hmm. So trust the decision that you're making. Trust that you're making the right decision and move forward in faith. You'll be fine. And every time that's happened, like when I remember when I was ordering fabric, I was ordering like 30 yards of fabric custom printed at a time. And I was like, oh my God, it's so expensive. What am I doing? Right?
I remember that.
I know you do. And like, the fabric order that I have coming in is 675 meters, not yards, meters of fabric.
Which is more.
Which is more. I don't know if you guys know that, but meters are it doesn't, like, if you were ordering 1 meter versus 1 yard, it's not going to make a huge difference. But over that amount of fabric, it's a lot of fabric. So every time I'm like, oh my God, that hyperventilating, like, what just happened? How do I? Every time I have that moment, my sister's like, every time this has happened, it's been for the best. You have to trust that it's going to continue to be for the best. Make the decision you feel is best with the information that you have. Go forward in faith and trust that it's going to be right. And that's what I've done.
It's growing pains.
It's growing pains, and they hurt. I mean,
they hurt bad.
They hurt real bad. Sometimes like when you have to like hand your credit card over and you're like, but then you're like, oh, look, all this extra time meant that I can make these other things, or I can do this marketing so that I can make up that money faster. Like, it's all of that, like, juggle.
Or I can have a life. I can get a day off, like.
What's a day off? I don't know. I haven't had one since October. It's fine.
I understand. My husband, so I told you, like, I kind of had a little break, right?
Yeah.
So he says to me on Saturday, he was like, oh, I got to get my plan ready so I can work next week. He goes, oh, you're going back to work. I said, well, what do you mean? I've been working. He goes, I've just seen a lot of you over the last couple of weeks. And I'm like, is that a bad thing? He goes, no. I really liked it. But it's like, is she working? I'm like, yes. It's just, I'm not like this, like, nose to the grindstone sort of thing,
Well, that's the funny thing is Dave will say to me, like, I'll see it. Like, we always have all of our meals together. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner, we eat together. So we spend at least that amount of time together, because otherwise I am working or walking the dog. Those are my two activities. And he goes, like, so we watched a movie last night, which turned out we picked a terrible movie. It was terrible. Don't watch it.
What is it?
Redemption. It was on Netflix, and it was like, oh, you'll like Netflix was like, you'll like this. And I was like, okay. It's a Jason Statham movie. I love a Jason Statham movie. Like, sure. No, don't watch it. It's depressing.
I don't need that.
Yeah. Like, I was like, cause it's called Redemption. So in the end, you think like,
you're going to get some redemption.
Nope. Just misery. Fine. And like at the end, I was like, I need a palate cleanser. Like, what? I need like cat YouTube videos. So we watched a movie, and Dave was like, "Oh, that was nice." Like, yeah, like this is a thing we used to do. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah,
when
right.
did we do this last?
You know what we did this weekend? Was it this weekend or last weekend? I know we did it this weekend too, but I think we started it last weekend. My kids bought like a family game pack or something on Xbox. And so there's a game called Fibbage. And
Oh,
so
it's a Jackbox game, girl.
yes, a Jackbox game.
I have a shortcut on my phone for Jackbox
so
games.
it's fantastic. And
Jackbox.tv, it's right there.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. And so we were playing it, and the whole time I'm playing it, I'm like, this would be really fun to play with my friends, like online.
Oh yeah.
Because you don't need it. You just need your phone to sign in.
You don't even have to be in the same place.
It was so much fun. It was so much fun. So we've been having like family game night. Like after dinner or during dinner, just where we're spending some time together, which can I just tell you is nice because we actually get to see Josiah, who is always in his room.
I remember.
Yeah, always. Like it's worse than ever. But he comes down and like he plays and we have a good time. And, with my kids being semi-adult-ish, like there's a little bit more adult humor happening and stuff. Right. It's fun. It's just so fun.
Yeah, that's the game when we used to get, when you could get together with friends. That was the thing we used to play when we got together, and my friend Jennifer would make cocktails, and like we all went to Jennifer and Isaac's house and we all sat around with our phones and played Jackbox games.
Yeah.
And it was so fun. My favorite one ever was me and Isaac. We were the two people doing Fibbage that day, and everybody else was voting. And so if you guys don't know what Fibbage is, they give you a prompt on your phone and you have a certain amount of time to type in an answer. So like the prompt was, what is your greatest weakness? Okay.
And you want to do a lie.
And you want to make it. You're playing. I can't remember what I'm calling, but Fibbage is a different one. But this is the game I can't think of the name what it was. There's another one that you guys would really like. So like two people get to answer. Like everybody gets to answer, and everybody gets to vote on the best answer.
Uh-huh.
And it was Isaac and I were the two we were the two ones, and then everybody was voting for some reason. Just me and I think our phones were the only ones still charged. I don't remember. And they give you a prompt and you respond, and it's supposed to be funny. So the prompt was like, what my greatest weakness is. And he was like, oh, I'm going to win this. He's like, I got this. I'm going to be the winner. And I'm like, okay. And I put in my ankles because I couldn't think of anything else, right? Like, I was like, my greatest weakness is my ankles. Like, I don't know. And he put in kryptonite. There are 10 people in the room who get to vote. He got 0 votes. I got all 10. And like, whenever I see him, I'm like, hey, Isaac, what's your greatest weakness? And he's like, your ankles.
Yeah, right. It's so fun.
Like, it's so much fun. It's just funny. And like,
it's like Jolene is talking about. We've played Heads Up before when we get together. Oh my gosh, we have so much fun doing it. It's hilarious. Yeah. I'm gonna have to go get my dad here soon, but Spark, who's in the house,
Hi, Spark.
in the house. She is saying that Bridgerton is highly recommended.
I haven't dug into it yet because I feel like everybody said it's really good, and like they've already approved it for like 8 total seasons or something. And I'm like, well, when does season 2 come out? Because I just, you know what? I need a lot of happiness right now. Like whatever I can get.
I enjoyed their modern take on a classic genre. I've read the books. I love the books. Books. Yeah. So I'm just gonna throw that out there. Yeah, Mom is saying you better go get your dad. I know.
Sorry, Marley's mom.
I'm gonna go get him, but I've been sitting here working on something special. So it's weird. I have to cover my eyes.
You have to cover your eyes, yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, I finished the brim. I've got the brim done on mine.
Look at you.
I did a twisted rib because that's what my Marley bird told me.
I love twisted rib.
I love a twisted rib on the brim of a hat. I never realized like it makes such a difference.
It's so pretty.
This is inspired by you. This hat is inspired by you.
What are you doing?
It's a secret.
Okay. I can't wait to see it then.
But this is I'm like, I've had this in my head. I've had this idea in my head for maybe since the 24 days of quickies. I've had this idea in my head. Yeah.
It looks big. Is it too big?
It's flat. It's not knitted.
Oh, I was like, that is a really big head.
It's gonna be a whole, like, it's gonna be like a thing you put over your head. No.
She thought 2 inches was big. Wow.
No. But you know what I really love? You want to know the best thing ever?
What?
I was like, crap, I'm gonna have to do a gauge swatch. Right? And then I was like,
you looked up one of my patterns. I knew it.
Look what yarn I'm using. I was like, no, I don't. So I was like, where are my 7s? Done. It's the best ever. Like, what, especially because, like, if when you could go places, when I would go to Ulta and be like, crap, are we beige neutral or beige? Right. And you're like, oh, beige neutral. Thanks. Because, like, if I told my husband, go get this thing out of the thing, he would. But, like, there's no guarantee. Like, how many times do I have to tell him which product to pull out, right? Like, there's 23 things in there.
I totally understand.
So Spark says it's a 2021 hiding hat.
It's like on Fat Albert where the guy had the hat, but he had his, like, the eye holes. But what was that? I always thought that was really cool. Anyways, all right, back to the 2 inches. Yes, 2 inches. They are significant.
They are significant. 2 inches is significant.
2 inches is significant. Okay, I'm going to go get my dad. I will show you my little swatch that I was working up. This is for the beginner
cable?
Not beginner. Yes, the cable class. It's not beginner. It's like introduction to cables, but we're going to work on that swatch. So I wanted to make sure I had that up. So if you're interested in that, that's over at Fave Crafts. I wonder if I can find a link. Let me look for a link real quick. And while I'm doing that, what is something they can look up for you? Is there anything going on?
Someone asked if they could get a planner. The physical planners, I should have some extras once I have them all boxed up and sent out. And I will list those when I know exactly how many I have, because in another fun turn of events, when I was uncoiling them, I discovered that a couple of them were missing a divider randomly. One's missing November, one's missing August, one's missing April. It's fine.
Oh no.
So that's why I'm not committing to how many final physical planners I will have, but we do have a digital download of a planner. So, like, you can use it on, like, GoodNotes if you have an iPad. And we also have a printable version if you want to go print yours or print it at home. We have both of those planners. If you would like to join us for planners, you do not have to have this planner, but we do offer Planner Camp, which is a multi-day live where I tell you how to use a planner, because a lot of people were never taught how to use a planner or how to make a plan. That was not a thing that we were taught in schools. Everybody plans a little differently. I'm just going to tell you some options, tips and tricks about how your brain works, about productivity, things in your brain, some brain science, things like that. And then it's free for everybody, but it's only done in our Facebook group. So you don't have to have, like, my planner. You can have a Happy Planner or an Eric Condren planner, whatever planner you use. And you can come hang out with us. It's just like it's like this, but it's minus Marley. Sadly.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah.
So all of those are on my website, which is, it won't let me type it in, but erinlanebags.com.
Okay.
You can find them there.
And then I just added the link to the Eventbrite
Awesome.
What stuff for Fave Crafts. There was another question over here I needed to answer that I cannot remember. Bridgerton, hold on, I'm scrolling up to see you guys, and then Jackbox, and then my mom, and then amazing advice. What is the advice? Oh, auditions for your sewing. Tax write-off for the camera.
Yeah. So Spark keeps saying, like, where can we donate for Lindsey to get the camera? Where can we donate for Lindsey to get the camera?
Yeah, right.
You know what I should do is I should have a photography themed live sale and all the money goes towards the camera. That's what I should do.
That's not a bad idea.
Fun?
Not a bad idea. I can't remember what it was. I don't know. It has left me. It is gone. But it'll be all right. So After Dark Book Club will be coming up. Look for details of that. I'm hoping that Lindsey and I could probably connect this week sometime just to even do the introduction video. We got to figure out how that all.
I have to get the very expensive webcams that I bought myself. I should
them all set up.
Get them out. This webcam is, like, I don't know, 7-8 years old. It's fine.
See, I'm super excited that this thing was very easy to set up. Like, it's surprisingly easy to set up. I was very shocked. I thought for sure this was going to take a lot more time. But other than that, I have some videos I am working on, which is good. So I'll be putting out some more videos soon. I'm going to come back over here. Oh, I know what it was I was going to say. There is somebody on Facebook. Yes, going back to Facebook. Say banana. Somebody is friending people under my name. So they took my image from my Facebook page, my older Bitmoji, like Bitmoji 2021 image, and they were friending people. I think Facebook took it down, but I thought I'd give you guys a heads up because they also did it to Tamara from Moogly. So I was going to give you guys a heads up on that is not me. We reported it to Facebook. But we all know how that goes sometimes, but it's been taken down. So, and since then I've changed my image on Facebook. It's a Bitmoji of me saying quality content. Cause I thought that was funny. I was like,
for sure.
So yeah, that was the other thing I wanted to put out there, but it is officially 1:33. If I don't leave now to go get my dad, I will show up late, which I have to go inside and get him because he's still dealing with some foot issues, which
oh no. Okay.
Yeah, it's
gotta go. Gotta go.
It's all right. So I had a wonderful time hanging out here with you, Linz. Thanks for helping.
It was great to hang out.
Thanks for helping me test out my camera. It was fun.
I'm glad to do it.
Fun saying hi to everybody also, because I think they missed us after the 24 days of quickies. And
after the 24 days of quickies and Hank Miss, all the ladies in my group were like, we need more videos. And I'm like, I'm just sewing all the things.
I can totally understand that. Understand that. All right. So I'm going to go fill up my water because I'm still on no soda since May 23rd. That is crazy. Like,
I'm so proud of you.
I can't believe it. I wish I would lose more weight because of it. I haven't lost a thing. My mom is like, oh, I can see it. And then I watched my live video last night. I was like, oh, hell no. You're just blind. Cause obviously.
It's like that Instagram I sent you. Oh. Thanks. You remember what I'm talking about that you sent to your mom?
Yes.
Like, don't put that on my journey.
Yeah. It's just like, this is, I don't know. So I'm feeling,
you know what? Sometimes sausage is all we have.
I like sausage. It's good. I don't know. It's weird. Like, I'm going to go off on a tangent, but I feel like I don't eat very much. I mean, I showed you chocolate, but I've had this chocolate for 4 days and you can see how much is gone. Like, not very much. Like, I just don't eat very much.
I don't either. I eat a salad a day.
I love
my lunch is a salad every day.
Salad is good. I don't know. But anyways, so I'm still on my journey of no soda. So I bought myself a big cup so I could have a straw for water and stuff because it's just easier, I think. But I'm gonna go get my dad, and the drywallers must be on lunch break because I just realized that
maybe they moved to the other side.
Do what?
Maybe they moved to the other side of the room.
Maybe they did. I don't hear anything though. I don't hear anything.
Well, I mean, it's lunchtime, so that makes sense.
Lunchtime. Yeah, they're probably at lunch.
So go get dad so that he can unleash the, oh no, you did that wrong. You're going to redo that.
Right.
And then, you know what, Mike? Oh, did you want to play that game, Mike? Here's my dad, Mike. It's fine.
Yeah, I'm excited for my dad to be here and to kind of, give everybody a what for, because he will. He was so mad about the other stuff. Like, John was so mad at the other stuff. Like, it was.
Y'all, I've known Marley and John for a while. I've never seen John that upset. I was worried.
Well, it was bad. Like, the guy emailed me. I'll make this real quick. The guy emailed me as his solution for the problem, which wasn't good enough. And so John took it upon himself to call the owner of the company to say, hey, this is what's going on. This is how we feel. We don't feel like we're partners. We don't feel like we're, we're working together for this. To which the guy said, well, John, you told me at our very first meeting that this was her job. She was the boss. She did this. And, I don't see where I have to be your partner. And, I don't see why you're calling me to be a partner. We aren't partners. You said you didn't want to be a part of this. And he was like, excuse me? Like, do you want to talk to Marlena? I can give the phone to Marlena.
I can give you Marley, but it's not going to be pleasant.
Yeah, it was just the way he was addressing him. Like, well, why are you calling me? You said you didn't want to be a part of it. And John was livid because John he's a sales manager for a concrete precast company. And so he's on the customer service side of everything. And he was like, this is the most appalling customer service I've ever experienced ever. I mean, it was atrocious. So
Jolene, oh no, he didn't.
Oh, he totally did. And then he proceeded to tell me that I was letting my emotions overshadow my feelings or overshadow the situation with the sales guy
which he would never have said to a man.
Yeah,
oh
no, I would never have, he would, no, ever. And then he proceeded to tell me, you know, what he told me.
It doesn't matter.
It's fine. Everything is good. And whatever. So it's good. All is well.
It's getting done. And Marley's dad is going to be on the scene, making sure it's right. And nobody wants to mess with Marley's dad. I can tell you that.
And when it's all done, it's going to be exciting. You're going to be here. We're going to get all the things up. I'm going to ask if I can get my track team to come over to help me move things downstairs when it's time, because I'm an official HSE employee for coach. Like I have official, like I'm official. So I'm official coach. All right. I really have to go get my dad.
Goodbye.
I love you. I love everybody. You. Make sure you leave a comment below with the special love notes sort of stuff for us. We would love to see